Hi everybody, Tomble from Sun Racing here. We're back with Glorious Goodwood preview of day 3 and 4. Delighted once again to be joined by Chad Yeomans of Betway and by Steve Mullin, aka Templegate of the Sun newspaper, to discuss the big races on the day 3 and day 4 in detail. First up, we're going to start with day 3, which obviously sees some cracking contests, some cracking group contests, as it always does. And let's start with the Richmond Stakes, the Group 2, over 6 furlongs. We've got Qatar, Admiral Nelson, I should say, Yazaman, and Supremacy. They're pretty much the ones that are ahead of the market. Templegate, let's start with you. Where is your eye taken in this race?
Yazaman, I think, been very impressed with what he's done so far. I mean, he's been second twice in 2 very good races, the Windsor Castle and then the July Stakes. I thought he seemed to enjoy stepping up to 6 furlongs. He wasn't shown quite the same headstrong antics on that time as he was earlier, maybe just getting a bit more experienced. Obviously, Carter was behind him that day. I don't see any massive reason why he'll turn it round, although he did go a bit quick in front and he ran really well at Royal Ascot as well. But I think Yazaman looks a really good bet. I know he's not a huge price, but I'd be surprised if he's not first or second.
I would be as well. He's my pick. I'll go in quickly ahead of Chad. I think he's got the best chance on that performance last time out. And I think the step up to 6 furlongs really suited him. I expect him to have more to come over this trip. Chad, do you make it 3 in agreement there?
Absolutely. He's bumped into tactical, probably one of the better 2-year-olds we've seen, certainly one of the most forward 2-year-olds we've seen thus far. He's got no tactical to contend with. I can't see any reason why Qatar will go past him other than Mark Johnson of Goodwood. Just a quick shout for Lauded. I think he was really impressive on his debut at Haydock, and then he was bought by Al Shakab. Bit disappointing at Ascot, finishing 7th. But if he does clearly show what he can do, I think he'll run a lot closer than finishing last, or one but last, which the betting would suggest. But Yazaman for the win.
Great stuff. All in agreement now on the first race. It can only get better from here. The 245 Gordon Stakes features English King, the return of English King, after a pretty good run in the Derby where nothing really went right for him. Frankie Dettori on once again. Khalifa Sat in there for Andrew Balding, Betway Ambassador Andrew Balding, and Tom Marquand. Mogul for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien, and a few others in there, including Al Arsi, who was a very impressive winner at Newmarket last time out. Chad, who's the one that wins this?
English King. I wasn't actually a major fan of him before the Derby, but I do think he was given a real good ride in the Derby, a really tender ride from Frankie that I think they probably could have finished closer. But I think Frankie's experience knew that the way he would have ridden the horse, gave the horse every chance of not bottoming out, having too much of a hard race, that he can go on to win other races this season. He clearly stayed on through the line. I think he's a smart horse after seeing that Derby performance. I do like Al Arsi. I think Al Arsi is a proper class animal. But just giving away that penalty might just be the difference between victory and loss here, victory and defeat. Khalifa Sat ran really well in the Derby, but I do think he had the run of the race compared to English King, and I do think English King will take all of the beating here. Great
stuff. Steve, do you agree with Chad?
I do, and I agree with what he says about Frankie as well. I noticed he took a look forward about half a mile out in the Derby anyway. I think he realised that there was no point flogging it, so he just gave it a reasonable ride home, and I think we'll see the benefit of that today. I was more impressed with the Lingfield Derby trial, I think, than Chad was. I thought that was a decent run, and importantly, he handled Lingfield, which isn't a million miles away from Goodwood in terms of trickiness, and the same for Epsom. Slight concern about Khalifa Sat's 100% record at the track. That he obviously loves it, so he might improve a bit for that. But I think English King, this will be his deserved win.
Lovely. I'm going to go with Khalifa Sat, actually. I think that record at Goodwood is very good. I love horses for courses, particularly at Goodwood. It's a very undulating track, can take some getting. And I think Tom Marquand should send him out near enough the front. He'll probably be taken on by subjectivists, but I expect Khalifa Sat to make the running, be very hard to catch. And I think he's slightly underrated. That run in the Derby was pretty good, actually. And he did, of course, finish ahead of English King and Mogul as well. So hopefully he can run a big race. And I like Al Arsi for the future, but like Chad, I think that penalty could just scupper him. On to the 3:15, the big race of the day, the Qatar Nassau Stakes, Group 1. A good field is lining up for this. Donica O'Brien is sending over Fancy Blue from Ireland. We've got Nazif, who won the Falmouth Stakes last time out. Aidan O'Brien is running Magic 1. Then we've got last year's winner, Deirdre, for Mitsuru Hashida. And One Voice, Queen Power, Lavender's Blue, making up the rest of the field. Chad, come to you first this time. Which filly is going to win this one?
I can't split Fancy Blue, who I think is probably the classiest horse in the race. Done absolutely nothing wrong. And last year's winner, Deirdre, I think she's very smart and probably slightly overpriced, or was overpriced earlier this week. I've gotten Nazif wrong every single time I've gone against Nazif, and she's now ultimately on a 7-timer. So maybe if you're watching this, back Nazif, because I'm going against her, and that seems to be a proven record so far. But there's the other. It's a really, really good race. It's a really, really good race. Definitely one to watch, and there'll be winners come out of this left, right, and centre. But I can't split Fancy Blue and Deirdre. If I had to, probably Fancy Blue, on the fact that she's probably got more class than any others.
Lovely. Steve, do you fancy Blue as well?
Yeah, it's obviously got a big chance, but I'm extra confident about Nazif now. I know Chad's against us, so yeah, 6 in a row. Just one of those horses that keeps winning, but not by very much. So maybe is a bit underrated. I thought the Ascot win was excellent, and then stepped up to win the Falmouth Group 1 last time. Fancy Blue is the one I'm massively worried about. Putting Donica O'Brien on the map, if you like, as a trainer. Won the French Oaks last time in great style. So we know Stays really enjoyed moving up in trip, and obviously has massive amounts of class. Deirdre, yeah, obviously loves the track. Didn't show a lot in the Eclipse, but I think today was the day, wasn't it? But I'm happy to go with Nazif in what could be a very good couple of days for Jim Crowley.
Excellent stuff. I am going to go and put my neck out on the line and go with One Voice for Jessie Harrington. You watched this filly last time out. She got absolutely no run at the Qatar whatsoever. She would have won the race that day. Obviously, this is a big step up now. She gets a lot of weight from every horse apart from Fancy Blue. And Jessie wouldn't send her over. She didn't think she had a big chance. And Tom Marquand takes the ride. So at 14-1, or around about that price, One Voice will do for me. Great. That is Thursday done and dusted, I should say. On to Friday now. We're going to talk about 5 races here, because there's a pretty good card, I have to say. We've got the Group 3 Oak Tree Stakes up first, where all sorts of very good fillies go to post, fillies and mares, headed, of course, by One Master, who's a Group 1 winner on 2 occasions, and finished 4th in the Falmouth last time out for William Haggas and Tom Marquand. Breathtaking Look is up there as well in the market, as is Agincourt, and also Alfica and Valeria Messalina, another one for Jessie Harrington there. Chaz, who do you like in this?
I actually like One Master in this. She ran in this race 2 years ago and finished 4th, but I think the horse has come forward from then. And I think she's a different animal now. And I do think she's going to take all the beating. She seems to win the race at the Arc meeting. I forget the name of it. Every year.
Oh, the Foray, yeah.
She seems to win that every year, and they might work backwards from that. But this isn't the deepest race I've seen. If you take out One Master, who's been running in Group 1, if someone said this was a listed race, you'd almost go, yeah, probably, yeah. Like if that kind of look and feel to it. So on that race, I just have to go with the fact One Master just seems to be almost proven at Group 1 level now.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that, and she's quite a way clear on ratings too. I think she probably just needs to turn up to win this race. It's a big step down in class for her, and it's back over her favourite trip, so I'd be very surprised if she didn't win this and win it quite well. Steve, would you agree with both of us?
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's not that many races over 7 furlongs, but I don't understand why they don't just keep it to that, because she seems to win every time she tackles this trip. Runs in Group 1s every time. I'm just looking through her form to see the last time she ran in a Group 3. It was a couple of years ago, and she won it just after this race, finishing 4th in this. So Alfica's obviously very progressive and will improve. And always when Frankie Dettori rides one for Jessica Harrington, Valeria Messalina is not coming over for the sake of it. But One Master should win this quite comfortably, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 3 in agreement. Again, on the first race of the 4th day this time. Now on to the Bonham Thoroughbred Stakes, Group 3. This features the very exciting Calusi in the Hamdan Al Maktoum colours. He has got a whole host of classy horses this season. He has got an absolute bottomless pile of riches, and Calusi does look to be near the top of that tree, I have to say, based on that victory last time out. That's Royal Ascot. He's got to take on My Oberon, who was very impressive himself at York recently, and Tilsit, again, another extremely impressive winner at Newcastle last time out, although I'm not sure he beat much. And then Repartee and Mystery Power finish off the field. Templegate, who is the one in this race?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to be a bit of a Johnny favourite in this day, because Calusi, I mean, for people like myself who follow speed figures, this is a very, very stressful race because it's so far ahead of everything else. If it doesn't win, then our whole way of life is at risk. But that run in the Britannia last time, that was a Group 1 run in a handicap on the ratings. Goes up to a Group 3. I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't win. It's not a huge price, obviously. Looking for something against the Tilsit, won by 19 lengths, which is normally a handicap chase kind of margin, isn't it? But it was very impressive when he won at Newcastle. This is obviously so much harder, but I mean, 19 lengths is 19 lengths, but Calusi should be away and gone by then.
Chad, agree with Calusi?
Yeah, one-horse race. I'm confident it wins, unless anything goes wrong. Obviously, Goodwood's a bit of an undulating track, you never quite know. But I was there when the horse finished second at Newcastle and the start of the all-weather champs fixture, and I thought this horse is really smart. Then I was there when it won at Wolverhampton a month later, and I thought this horse is really smart. And then we didn't see it again until it absolutely bolted up in the Britannia, and I think it'll absolutely bolt up again tomorrow. And
sensational stuff. 3 voices in unison. Once again with Calusi, as I also agree, I think he'll win easily. I was very impressed with my Oberon at York, but I think he needs to step up to catch Calusi, who, as we all think, I probably think, he's a Group 1 winner in waiting. Great stuff. On to the big handicap, the first handicap of this preview video. The 245 Unibet Golden Mile, always a cracking contest that features any whole host of hard luck stories each year, and hopefully we'll be tipping horses that get a clear passage. Chad, come to you this time. Who do you fancy in this hot handicap?
This race is ridiculously hard to win every single year. It's a really tough race. I'm going for 2. I've thrown 2 darts. First is Afark, winner of the Hunt Cup a few years ago. I think at a big price, he's a nice each way bet. Ran okay in this year's renewal, and then he was drawn out of it in the John Smith Cup, and things just didn't go right. And the other one is Fox Premier, the supposed second string on jockey bookings of the King Power 2. But this horse is quite highly thought of. Andrews thinks a lot of it, and he often writes in his Betway blog on the Betway Insider. And I just think he could just be a bit better than 97, and he could run into a place.
Lovely stuff. Cheers, Chad, for that. And Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like I should be wearing the Shake Hand and silks while I'm sitting here now, because I did like Afaka, but I think Monte, again, excellent run in the Hunt Cup, obviously second. Turned the form around with Dark Vision at Sandown. Again, it wasn't that flashy. It was a bit of a scramble home in the end. But I think the times of the Ascot win and the Newmarket win before that were very good. Obviously, handles a big field. Slightly concerned about the stall 15 draw. That's probably not ideal. But I think he's got every chance. And then you've got Prompting with very little weight. He won it in a big field at York last time. Again, should run well. And I thought Sabuska in the Bunbury Cup ran well over 7 furlongs on the back of that Silver Hunt Cup win at Royal Ascot. So again, I'm not really unearthing any unknown ones, but I think Montatham could go very close again.
One for Jolly Jim Crowley there again. I think Sabuska's going to run very well. I think he might be slightly too far up the handicap now. That's the only worry I have with him. And I'm going to go out stick my neck out on the line, and once again with Baltic Baron, who I've tipped before to no avail. But he gets new headgear this time, first time blinkers, and this horse is on an extremely good mark. He loves these big fields, yet he's drawn out in the car park in 13th. David O'Mara's horses couldn't be going any better. And hopefully Jason Watson, who now takes over from McClaimer last time out, can get the gaps he needs. And I'm hoping to see Baltic Baron in the winner's enclosure once again on Friday. Okay, 3:15, the King George Qatar Stakes Group 2. Well, it's all about yet another hand and Alec Tomb horse. Batash, who goes for Jim Crowley once again, and Charlie Hills. Surely, Chad, Batash just wins.
Turns up, he wins. He's not a backable price, but he turns up, he wins. I guess backing him at the kind of prices is better than putting it in the Building Society for an afternoon. Yes, he wins. I think Glass Sippers will finish second. There you go, forecast.
Lovely. Bit of forecast riches for the forecast followers there. Steve, what about you, Batash?
Yeah, we're basically trying to work out where the Liberty Beach or Glass Slippers will finish second, I think, aren't we? I thought they both ran well in his wake in the King's Stand. Batash should be too good. He's won this race. It's 3 years in a row, isn't it? Can't see him slipping up unless something goes wrong, and there won't be a lot between Glass Slippers and Liberty Beach. I've just come down on Liberty Beach for the forecast, but it's by a tiny amount. Be interested to see how Ken Colt gets on coming over from France. Has some reasonable form and ran really well when winning at Chantilly, but again, only playing for second at best, I think.
Yeah, nice to see Fabrice Chappé bringing him over. I'm quite surprised Batage isn't actually shorter than about the 1 to 3 he is roughly at the moment. I think he probably will shorten on the day. He should be 1 to 5 shots, shouldn't he? Really, just on the form in the season and last. I think Liberty Beach will finish second as well. That's a very short and shrift. We don't need to talk too much about it because it is a very obvious outcome if everything goes to plan. So finally, let's talk about the last race of this preview, the 3:45 at Lomarin's Queen's Plate Glorious Stakes, Group 3, over 1.5 miles for 4-year-olds and up. We've got Alunac, Communique, Desert Encounter, Le Don de Vie, Pablo Escobar, Thundering Blue and Spirit of Appin. Templegate, final race on the preview today. Where's your money going?
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck with this race because there's no hand-down horse and Jim Crowley hasn't got a ride, so I've actually had to look at the form. So, no, Communique is the one for me. Mark Johnston, we've said it several times, wins so many races at Goodwood. He's been in good form. Ran well in the Group 2 at the Tatsall Stakes at Newmarket. Good run at York again. He won on his only race at Goodwood. I really like William Buick as a jockey anyway, but especially at Goodwood, he's got a fantastic record here. Hopefully he can just sit just off the pace rather than trying to make all, because there's a couple of other front runners in there. But I think his staying power and Johnstonness will see him home. Communicate.
Great stuff. Chow, what about you?
I think the Johnstonness in any race at Goodwood is a massive pull and a massive help, but I am going to go with Alunac. There's just something I really like about this horse on his day, and I don't think the nature of the way that the races were run at Newmarket really suited him. I think the way they go in tow almost just it doesn't work for him. And I do think that he's second in the Hardwick is very, very smart. Don't forget, he was 5th in the Breeders' Cup behind Bricks and Mortar last year. He's performed at a high level, and I just think this will suit him more than the Newmarket race he's running this season. Obviously, the Commonwealth, what's the race Guyas won at the start, and the one last time. So I'll start side with Alunac, but not a major betting race.
Okay, great. One for King Power there. I'm going to go on last year's winner, Desert Encounter, the elder statesman in the field. Another one for Jim Crowley. I think this horse likes this track and was much more like it last time out, finishing third. And hopefully this course and distance can bring him on once again. Thank you very much to Templegate and to Chad of Betway for discussing those races in detail. 8 races there, and hopefully there are plenty of winners flying around and plenty of forecasts too. We'll see you all very soon for day 5.
Love it.